Bubble Bob was one of the many classics for the Nintendo, but it was originally released as an arcade game by Taito in 1986. And it was then later ported to many home consoles, most notably the Nintendo. Okay, now, if you've never played this game before, which, if you told me that I wouldn't believe you anyways, I'll walk you through it. The game starts you off as one of the two Bubble Dragons, Bub the Green Dragon if you're playing alone, or Bob the Blue Dragon if you're playing with a friend. Now the main goal of the game is to rescue Bub and Bob's girlfriends who have been abducted by robots. And now the story may seem dated and used, but in Nintendo's golden years, rarely ever did anyone ever play for the gripping stories. The game mechanics are fairly simple. You blow bubbles at enemies, enemies get trapped, you jump on top of the bubble to pop the enemy, and then you progress to the next level. Now I know that may sound really easy, but trust me, it gets quite harder when the levels go later on. For example, when there's a single enemy left on the map, they turn bright red as if they're enraged or angered, and they move twice as fast. Also, when you kill an enemy, they drop fruit. Sadly, these aren't power-ups like you'd expect. They don't really do much besides the fact of giving you points for a better score. Because back in the day, high scores meant everything. That doesn't mean this game is void of power-ups, however. There's also one good power-up that lets you skip a few levels if you get it. It kinda looks like an umbrella or a parasol. There actually was a sequel to this game called Rainbow Islands, though I'm sure not much people have tried it. The basic mechanics are pretty much the same, except that you use rainbows now instead of bubbles. And you can use the rainbows as makeshift platforms like you could with the bubbles, or you can jump on them to drop the rainbows on your enemies. Now this game also featured a two-player mode, but it was kinda like Mario in the sense of you'd have to wait your turn for the other player to die first, and no kid ever wanted to wait their turn, just wanted to play! An apparent third sequel to the game was made initially for the PC engines, then later was ported to home consoles such as the Nintendo, though not many have played it or even really heard of it since the Nintendo release was only in Europe. Now there are also a few more games released under the Bubble Bobble name. A game called Bubble Bobble 2, which was made for the Game Boy and NES, though both systems had completely different storylines and were developed independently from each other. A game called Bubble Symphony, created for the Sega Saturn and Xbox, which takes place after the events of Parasol Stars. Bubble Memories, which was a game only released on an arcade machine, so not many people have even had the chance to see this game, though not much has changed in this game except for the addition of maybe the giant enemies. Now there are a few more games that I didn't mention, but we're just talking about childhood classics here. And if you haven't tried this game, you should come pick it up. If you just want some nostalgic childhood memories, you won't be disappointed. But make sure you grab a friend because you can only play this game in 2 players.